All right, you guys, happy Monday. Erica Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. All right, you guys, we're going to jump right into this with no introduction. There's a lot that I would like to speak with you guys about. Can't wait to hear your feedback. A lot of lies that are being put out there, narratives that I would say are half-truths or just misrepresentations entirely. And I don't really see the reason for that. First and foremost, to let you know, last week was not a dream. Charlie Kirk, my friend, is dead. And he was publicly executed. I want to make that clear. Charlie Kirk was publicly executed before the world.
Here at Charlie Kirk's, death isn't just a tragedy anymore. It's a full-blown war erupting on every corner of the internet. And the one person everyone thought would be drowning in grief, his own wife, is now being whispered about as a suspect. People aren't just saying she's mourning, they're saying she might have actually been involved. The moment that rumor hit, the whole internet lost its mind. And when Candace Owens caught wind of it, she went off like a bombshell. She didn't just clap back, she went nuclear. Suddenly, the mystery isn't only about who pulled the trigger. The real question is, was the betrayal sitting right next to Charlie this entire time? That single thought has turned this story into something way darker than anyone expected. Dozens of people were there, chaos everywhere, and the official story tried to paint a clean picture. But before we even get to Candace's fiery meltdown, let's rewind to what really happened the night Charlie Kirk was taken out, because the puzzle pieces don't point to some random gunman off the street. They're pointing straight inside his own circle. Here's how it went down. Charlie was gunned down during a university event packed with thousands of people.
That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Chaos erupted instantly. Screams, panic, security scrambling in every direction. The official narrative says a 22-year-old named Tyler Robinson supposedly fired shots from a rooftop. But here's where things get seriously shady. The police affidavit makes one thing crystal clear. This shooter had insider knowledge. He wasn't guessing. He knew Charlie's speaking schedule, the tent layout, even the exact exit Charlie was going to use. That's not random, that's precision, fed to him from somewhere deep inside the circle. And then there's the fact Tyler didn't just shoot, he shot with terrifying accuracy. People who've seen the footage, as horrific as it is, say the most chilling part wasn't the chaos. It was his calm. No hesitation, no stutter, no shaking hands. This wasn't some rookie with a grudge. This was someone trained, locked in, and moving like he'd done this before. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment act. This was an operation.
Very difficult for me to do this for a lot of reasons, but I knew it was important because I didn't want the last thing that people had in their minds about Charlie to be the moment he lost his life. That was what was especially hard because he's just had so many amazing moments throughout his career. And as I was saying, I was having this discussion with George this morning, obviously through a lot of tears, about not wanting Charlie's caricature to survive when the actual Charlie Kirk individual, who Charlie Kirk actually is so much more important. The caricature, the cartoon, is that Charlie is this young, smart guy, made a career out of debating college kids, decided not to go to college, started Turning Point USA. And I think a lot of people thought that Charlie must take himself a bit too seriously. And I want you guys to know that that could not be further from the truth. Charlie and me were always laughing. Yes, he was ambitious. Everybody knows Charlie is ambitious. I met him back in 2017 when Turning Point was this very young organization. Okay, so we're receiving so much information. We have the exclusive for you on the mysterious trans boyfriend's family, what they have told us about Lance Twiggs. Obviously, we're going to go over this indictment. This kind of came up in the umpteenth hour. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion on it. there's more going on here. Very clearly, there's more going on here.
Whoever Tyler really was, he had time, resources, and a plan stitched together to perfection. And let's be real, you don't pull something like this off unless somebody's bankrolling you, guiding you, and making sure every single move hits the target. Paid and protected. That's exactly what it's starting to look like. And here's the wildest twist yet. Police only caught Tyler because his own father turned him in. Without that betrayal at home, Tyler could have slipped into the wind and left nothing but chaos behind. That's not bad luck. That's cold-blooded strategy, the kind that takes weeks, maybe months of planning, plus somebody close enough to feed him inside details every step of the way. So when investigators started connecting the dots, their eyes locked fast on the one person who always had access, his wife, Erica. And here's the kicker. When someone married gets taken out like this, who do law enforcement circles around first? Always the spouse. Sure, people grieve in their own ways, but Erica's social media posts didn't hit the way they were supposed to. To a lot of people, her words felt off, almost staged, like she was trying to prove something instead of just mourning. And then Erica poured gasoline straight onto the fire with a follow-up post that had jaws dropping everywhere. She wrote, "You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. They should all know this. If you thought my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea what you just unleashed across this entire country and world." That didn't calm anybody down. It blew the whispers wide open. Suddenly, sympathy wasn't the conversation anymore. Suspicion was. Neighbors started stepping forward, spilling stories about Erica and Charlie's explosive fights, screaming matches over money, shady finances that never seemed to add up. And then came the bombshell rumors about a multi-million-dollar fortune sitting right at the center of those battles. Now the internet is connecting dots at lightning speed, and the picture they're painting is darker than anyone could have expected. Was this tragedy really about ideology? Or was it about cold hard cash, power, and secrets hidden in bank accounts? Was Erica grieving, or was she covering her tracks? That's when Candace Owens jumped back into the fire, already known for dragging fake conservatives and shady backroom deals. She pounced on this story as proof that the betrayal wasn't some random outside hit. According to Candace, this betrayal didn't come from politics at all. It came from inside Charlie's own home. And she wasn't about to sit back and let the world look the other way. When Candace finally broke her silence, her words hit like a gut punch, raw, unfiltered, soaked in equal parts grief and accusation. It felt like she was mourning and exposing at the exact same time, and that mix was explosive. This wasn't just commentary anymore. This was personal. Candace didn't wait for prosecutors, detectives, or some polished press conference. She went straight to her socials and unleashed. She started boosting posts already catching fire online, posts hinting that Charlie's own wife might have played a role. And then came the one post that flipped the internet upside down. It read, "If this man's own wife set him up, every single conservative who stayed silent should be ashamed. He wasn't betrayed by politics. He was betrayed by his pillow." That single phrase, "betrayed by his pillow," went nuclear. Screenshots spread like wildfire, TikTok edits dropped within minutes, and hashtags trended across platforms overnight. Suddenly, this wasn't just about Charlie Kirk's murder anymore. It was about Candace Owens herself. Had she just confirmed what everyone had been whispering all along? And she wasn't finished. While critics tried to dismiss her retweets and likes as nothing more than conspiracy bait, nobody could deny the heartbreak dripping from her own tributes. Candace didn't just say Charlie mattered, she showed it. She dropped a photo compilation, slide after slide of private moments, laughing, supporting each other, being human outside the chaos of politics. That post exploded, not just because Candace has a massive following, but because it was the first tribute that actually made Charlie's death about him. And that hit people harder than any headline ever could. The man, the friend, the human being Charlie really was. Even his loudest critics couldn't deny Candace's tribute cut deep. People who spent years bashing Charlie admitted her post broke them down. Some said it made them cry, made them feel his absence in a way nothing else had. And fans weren't blind to the contrast either. They pointed out this was the kind of raw, heartfelt tribute you'd expect from a wife, not the cold, essay-style statements Erica kept pushing out. Candace made it personal, messy, unforgettable, while Erica's words felt like a press release typed up in a lawyer's office. But Candace wasn't done. She went live, holding back tears, speaking for nearly half an hour about the Charlie she knew outside the noise of headlines. You could see it all over her face, glassy eyes, voice cracking, struggling just to keep it together. That wasn't performance. That wasn't for clout. That was grief, real and raw, bleeding through the screen. And it wasn't just mourning, it was defiance. Candace was standing against the silence, against the shady cover-ups, refusing to let the world forget who Charlie really was, or how betrayal might have played a role in his end. And then she flipped the script completely. Candace turned herself into a one-woman investigator. The second police announced their probe, she was already digging, connecting dots, chasing the truth for herself. She wasn't waiting for polished press conferences or clean reports. She wanted answers, and she wanted them now. So when authorities finally dropped the official indictment against Tyler Robinson, guess who was first on the scene breaking it all down? Candace. The indictment came stacked with 7 heavy charges, including aggravated murder. And the stakes couldn't be higher. If Tyler goes down, prosecutors are gunning for the ultimate penalty, the death sentence. For most people, that sounded like justice, the system finally coming down hard. But not for Candace. She wasn't convinced, not even close. She believed the truth was still being buried, and she wasn't afraid to say what others only dared to whisper. On her Instagram stories, she dropped a chilling message. The indictment against the person who murdered Charlie has just been released, and this very much feels to me that we are only getting part of the story, but not the whole story. And that one single post was enough to ignite yet another wildfire of speculation online. Suddenly, everyone was back asking the same burning questions. Was Tyler just a pawn? Who was really pulling the strings behind him? And what was happening in those final shadowy days leading up to Charlie's last moments? And if anybody thought Candace's outrage was just some performance for clicks, they were dead wrong. Her live reaction told the truth. Her voice cracking, her hands slamming the desk, rage pouring out raw and unfiltered, grief that had now mutated into pure fury. And Candace didn't just throw heat at Charlie's wife. She had smoke for everyone she believed played even the smallest role in his death. Candace claimed she knew details about Charlie's private battles that people in his own circle ignored, or were too scared to say out loud. She painted a picture of suffocating pressure, political enemies stacking up, backroom deals turning darker, threats piling on top of him like a ticking time bomb. Then came the bombshell that rattled the internet. Candace name-dropped billionaire Bill Ackman. According to her, Ackman tried to bribe Charlie into shifting his stance on Israel. When Charlie refused, that's when the threats allegedly started flying. Candace said it got so intense that Charlie even considered softening his views, not for politics, but just out of desperation to stay alive. But he never got the chance. His story ended before he could make any kind of move. And the fallout didn't stop there. Candace's revelations cracked open the picture-perfect family image Charlie had spent years putting on display. Remember, Charlie always bragged about having the strong, traditional, untouchable family unit. He wore it like a badge. Now that image is shattered. Behind closed doors, total chaos. Reports claim even Charlie's own parents don't buy Erica's version of events. They allegedly believe she knows way more than she's letting on. And the whispers say they've cut her off completely. No calls, no visits, no protection, nothing. The woman once presented as the backbone of his life is now being frozen out by the very people closest to Charlie himself. But on the flip side, some of Charlie's in-laws are circling the wagons, swearing up and down that Erica is just being scapegoated by a media frenzy gone wild. That split alone shows the once tight Kirk circle is crumbling in real time, and it's only getting messier. And adding more fuel to the fire, Candace Owens herself. Every single time Erica dares to speak, Candace claps back harder, doubling down on her accusations and refusing to let the heat die down. But here's where it twists even deeper. The shooter himself, Tyler Robinson, just 22 years old. You'd think the media would drag every detail of his life into the spotlight, blasting his face across headlines nonstop. Instead, the coverage has been strangely muted, almost cautious. And that silence sent Candace straight into overdrive. She went live again, demanding people pressure the system for real answers. And then she dropped another bombshell. Candace tracked down and even spoke with Tyler Robinson's ex-boyfriend, trying to piece together who this guy really was and what might have pushed him into pulling the trigger. That rant got clipped, reposted everywhere, and raised the question that stopped everyone in their tracks. Why is the media soft-pedaling the shooter while laser-focusing on Erica? Why is the wife under a microscope while the actual gunman slips into the shadows? That's when the fallout hit full force. A movement started to grow, not just from her die-hard fans, but even from people who normally despise Candace Owens. Suddenly, voices were saying she might actually be right this time. And through it all, Candace hasn't flinched once. She hasn't backtracked, hasn't deleted a single word. To her, this isn't some wild theory. It's the truth, no matter how dangerous it sounds. And that's exactly where things stand right now. The burning question: is Candace about to blow the lid off the biggest betrayal in conservative politics? Or is her fire about to scorch whatever's left of Charlie Kirk's legacy? Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because this storm is just getting started, and you won't want to miss what comes next. See you on the next one.